Megatronus. D16 was born during the Age of Wrath. The quintessence occupation of Cybertron had banished the ritual of the ascending from the Wells of Sparks, to the point where the newly born Cybertronians would emerge without names or development of personalities. After a brief but tantalizing glimpse of Cybertron's son, D16 was sent to work in the mines underneath Iacon. He took his name from the sector in which he worked, and eventually befriended some of the other nameless Cybertronian workers who had been dealt with similar hands by the Quintessons. One Cybertron in particular served as a surrounding board for D16 in the early days. From this nameless bot, D16 realized the importance of a proper name. By the time that the Quintessons had been routed from Cybertron, D16 was already craving more out of life. D16 became intrigued by the violent duels that held between miners. As Cybertron's golden age drew to a close, he entered the first Gladiator match. D16 drew upon the old stories from the 13 that the miners told one another, and decided on the name Megatronus as a suitable name. Hoping that Cybertronians' fallen society would eventually be restored, Megatronus thrived in the Gladiator Pits, seeing it was a way to escape the oppression of the slave system. The crowds who regularly watched his Gladiator matches soon shortened his name to Megatron. Megatron used his new fame to attack the bolted Cybertronian government in which the miners oppressed, and before long, he had carved out a loyal following, inspired all of his followers of his greatness. Orion Pax. In the waning years of the golden age of Cybertron, Orion Pax was a clerk of the Iacon records, mentored by Alpha Trion. His interest lays with the tales of the ancient Cybertronian history, but more he learned about the past, the more he grew concerned about the present. There is a disparity in freedom among the classes of his race, and the ruling class was corrupted by the all-powerful. In seeking solutions, he found inspiration of the words of a gladiator named Megatronus, and the two joined forces to end the corruption and bring equality to the masses. Orion and Megatronus became close allies, almost like brothers. Learning of the Cybertron's past, Orion grew concerned about the corruption affecting his high places and the state of the society. Over time, Megatronus became a mentor figure to Orion Pax as he left the Gladiator arena for a political one. Megatron appeared before the High Council, voicing his ideas, shaping a new Cybertron by a violent means, and demanding to be named the next Prime. Orion protests against Megatron's suggestion before the Council, moving their sparks and minds, and knowingly revealed himself to be the one worthy of the title. Megatron served his ties to Orion and the Council, taking his Decepticon followers to begin the war that consumed Cybertron and vowing to claim the legendary matrix of leadership for himself. Hoping to reverse the damage that he poisoned the planet, Orion journeyed to Cybertron's core, where he found himself before the spark of Primus himself, the creator of all Cybertronians. Primus sensed the purity of Orion's own spark, and best known upon him the legendary Matrix, transforming him into the legend known as Optimus Prime. It has been several centuries since Cybertron's golden age of the space exploration and planetary colonization, and its society had declined into stagnation. Almost every space bridge had gone offline due to the sabotage for years and neglect, so contact with other planets of the Transformers colony during the golden age had been lost forever. When a new Transformer was born of the Well of Spark, they were assigned to a caste and guide in which they would never deviate. Castes are separated into hierarchies, with the highest caste relating to science and politics, while the lower castes are given to manual labors in factories and mines. Those in the lowest castes are not given individual names. In the industrial city of Iacon, gladiator combats grow in popularity among the lower castes. One of the gladiators, a laborer who completely opposed the caste system, calling himself Megatronus, after one of the original 13 primes. Megatronus' fans and followers shortened his name to Megatron in their chants, and the name would stick. The High Council turned a blind eye to the proliferation of underground gladiator combat. In Iacon, a clerk named Orion Pax, who had worked in Cybertron's Hall of Records and also disliked the caste system, is assigned to eavesdrop Megatron's political speeches and file them appropriately for the higher council's knowledge. Orion turns to his guidance to his superiors and mentor, Alpha Trion, encourages him to meet with Megatron, cryptically stating that the great destiny awaits for them both. Orion travels to Iacon and meets with Megatron in person, along with his two followers, the immoral mad scientist Shockwave and the devious spy master, Soundwave. Orion and Megatron engage in an intense but friendly debate over the nature of free will, and they will find broad arguments in the need for a new form of Cybertronian government. However, Megatron favors confrontation and revolution, while Orion hopes to inspire the masses to change the system from within. As Megatron's political movement gains power, it grows even more violent. Terrorists professing alliance to commit to him multiple bombings across Cybertron. Megatron repeatedly states at the public speeches that he does not know of the terrorists and did not orchestrate these attacks. The terrorists then attack a casino, the city of LTX, where Sentinel Prime is attending a show. When the bombing starts, Sentinel relies on his 3 Seekers bodyguards, Starscream, to escort him safely. However, the bodyguards instead take Sentinel to Iacon and present him to Megatron. Starscream Starscream flirts with joining Megatron's forces, but sees Sentinel as a potential bargain. To prevent all-out war, Alpha Trion helps Orion and Megatronus to secure an audience before the Cybertron High Council in order to plead their case. The council is hostile to any notion of change and view Megatron as a criminal. Megatron continues to disown the terrorist attacks, but continues to appeal the removal of the case system, including the council itself. His words are supported by the low Catholic Council audience, who have stated calling themselves Decepticons. By contrast, Orion makes a moral noble appeal to the council. He proclaims that the Transformers' full potential as a race and each individuals were there to be acknowledged as an autonomous robot, using the ancient term Autobots as the expression of the ideal. Impressed by Orion's morals, the council appointed him as the new leader of Cybertron, giving him a new name and new title, Optimus Prime, with his first mission being the retrieval of the long-lost matrix of leadership. Orion's sudden promotion outrages Megatron, who believes the situation is set up. He kills the council member, but as the crowd marshal for the war of Optimus Prime manages to convince him not to commit further violence within the council hall. The two sides retreat from the halls and begin the war of Cybertron. The war is brutal and largely one-sided. The Autobots retain control of two cities, Iacon and Callus, where the Decepticons take over the rest of the planet. Out of depression, the Autobots launch the Allspark into space. Megatron orders Starscream to give him an access to Trypticon Station stockpile of the Dark Energon, a powerful enhancing substance. The Decepticons consume the Dark Energon and become extremely powerful, gaining combat edges overwhelming the struggle Autobots. Megatron then seeks control of the plasma energy chamber at Cybertron's core, planning to flood it with Dark Energon, which he permanently empowers his own forces while poisoning Cybertron and starving the Autobots to death. He murders Sentinel Prime and steals the keys to the chamber, but before he can access it, the Autobots reactivate Omega Supreme, an enormous robot that transforms into both a rocket and a city. Omega Supreme takes a plasma energy chamber and attempts to fly safely, but Starscream leads an aerial assault which shoots him down, and after Megatron empowers him with Dark Energon, he enforcedly defeats the Autobots in Omega's robot mode. He floods in the chamber with Dark Energon and sends it back to Cybertron's core. As the Dark Energon flows through Cybertron, Optimus ventures into the core to fix the chamber, accompanied by the Autobots Bumblebee and Jetfire. Once they find it, Bumblebee extracts the chamber, stopping the flow of Dark Energon, and Optimus retrieves the metal communications from the core itself, with the fact of being known as Primus. Primus would eventually be able to heal himself, but the process would take centuries, and in the meantime, he would be unable to generate enough energon to sustain the population he currently does, so the Transformers will either have to abandon Cybertron or risk starvation. Primus presents Optimus with the Matrix of Leadership, which contains the collective wisdom of all the past primes. Optimus orders a mass exodus of the Autobot army, but most of the ships are shot down by Trypticon Station. The 8-track is able to link up and force it to crash into Cybertron. As it falls, however, the station transforms reptilian monster and goes on a rampage. Alpha Trion grows ever more despairing from Cybertron as he sets the radical plan in motion, the construction of the largest spaceship in Cybertron's history, the Ark, the one which the Autobots may escape. Several Autobots, including Alpha Trion, Jetfire, and the newly repaired Omega Supreme, volunteered to stay on Cybertron and protect the little territory that the Autobots still hold. As most of the Autobots flee to the Ark, Megatron commands Trypticon to transform into a large spaceship, the Nemesis, in which he and most Decepticons will give a pursuit. The Ark takes off into space, and the Nemesis pursues. They fly into the last intact space bridge, but because no one alive knows how to use it, there is no guarantee it will work. As the two giant spaceships get within the range of a space bridge, it does indeed activate and teleports them to an uncharted part of space. With no Decepticon in sight, the Ark detects energy from the Allspark. Optimus Prime orders the Ark to pilot to the following signal, and the Autobots' adventure in space would begin.